What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Thoughts on the Go. I've got some thoughts and I'm on the go. Another run again this Sunday. Anyways, a couple things I want to talk about today. So if you want to stay tuned and listen to my thoughts on these. 1, life doesn't suck. 2, you have to learn to love the things that you wish most didn't happen to you in life. And then the third one, talking about burnout. And a great quote I heard today was about how you're not burnt out, you're just not doing enough of what you love. So those things I'm going to talk about today. We'll see how long I go for. Try to keep it 10-20 minutes. Let me know if you guys like a certain length. But just walking home from my run, so just McLennan Park here, so big open field. Where's my hand? It's there. Anyways, park's back there. The hills up there that I like to run up. So I kind of did my run in reverse today. Went up the hill and then kind of went the back way from where I normally come home. Anyway, just switch it up. Give my knees a break, because as you're always walking, if you notice, sidewalks are always a certain way, certain pitch for water to drain off. So if you run in reverse every once in a while, it kind of gives your knees a break. But first thing I want to talk about, life doesn't suck. That's kind of the mantra that I've kind of been living with for years, whether pain, suffering, trauma that we go through. There was a great quote. It was about just over a year ago. I just shared the video on a bunch of my social medias. I just heard the quote that at the end of all thunderstorms, there's a rainbow. So I always try to find your rainbow. And I had heard that just before I went for a run. We were in Cardiff, Wales, celebrating our anniversary last year. We just celebrated our 17th anniversary, me and my wife. Talking about life doesn't suck, 17 years. It's been amazing. And when we get to the third point, that's going to bleed into spending time with your family and stuff like that. But so running around Cardiff, Wales. My wife, I think she was having a shower or something like that. The gym was closed at the hotel. And I was in my middle of my 365 days of workout challenge. I did bring resistance bands because I knew I might not have a gym at all hotels, because we were going all over the UK. So I decided to go running, and 10 minutes in the run, just downpour. Now I'm running downtown Cardiff, Wales, checking all these pubs and everything. I see the Principality Stadium where the rugby team plays, and I'm like, oh, what else is here? And then there's Cardiff Castle. And I know we were going there the next day, but during the day. So anyways, I got there, boom, Cardiff Castle, rain stops. And like, how cool was it for me to be in Wales, like in rain? That's the stereotypical, it rains so much in the UK. Rain stops, and there I am at Cardiff Castle, checking it out, running around the outside of it. And then I saw that I forget what the other city's called, or the other stadium's called. It was like another 10 minutes away. So I decided to book it to there. And then of course I got no Wi-Fi or anything, so my wife's like, where the hell is so ran back in. But if you want to see that video, it's here on my YouTube, and it's on all my social medias. I have a longer version, I believe, on YouTube, and I got some shorter versions. I just reshared it. It's on my TikTok, all that stuff. But yeah, I just talk about we all go through pain and suffering, and at times, I mean, we're so lucky here in Canada. I mentioned that last week when I was talking about this, that I got to chill in my backyard all day with my wife, listen to music, joking around, talking about the future, because it's not up in the air, like it is in some countries. You never know if your country's even going to be around tomorrow, because you never know what's going to happen with wars and everything. So talking about how that is, life doesn't suck. Just think about that. And the whole thing of this, another great quote was, don't say can't, say can. And Rick Rubin's got a thing where it's like, yeah, don't say you can't do it, say you haven't done it yet. What a great mantra. I wish I would have learned that earlier in my life. But just constant trial and error, and making sure that you put in your best effort every day to make sure that you're working towards those goals. And it's always good to have lofty goals, because you don't want to be stagnant. You don't want to be and the worst thing is, you want to also always have multiple goals, and have one goal how it's going to bleed into the next and the next and the next. That way you don't get disappointed. You never fall off. You've always got something to work towards. So that's my point about life doesn't suck. Another one, I had heard it again yesterday. Stephen Colbert getting interviewed by Anderson Cooper, and Anderson brings up a quote that Stephen Colbert said, and it said, said something to the effect of, you have to learn to love what you wish most didn't happen in your life. So, loss of a job, loss of a family member, a son, a daughter, a parent. Unfortunately, that's life, right? We're, like I said, again, bringing up, we're fortunate to be where we are with the medical system we have, that, that doesn't happen as often as some countries and some people in the world. But again, talking about like trying to find the rainbow at the end of the storm. I just listened to this one podcast I listened to, and one of the hosts, his mom died 7 years ago, and someone had just written into the show and talked about how his dad died a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about how, like, at the 7-week mark it really starts to hit you. That's what the guy was talking about with his mom, and he said fortunately his dad's still alive. And then the guys reminded him, last week when they were joking about something about his dad. He's like, I gotta go spend some more time with my dad. So he took his dad out he lives in Philly, so took his dad out to a baseball game or something like that. And so, it sucks that his mom died, for instance, but he still got his dad there. So, spend as much time as you can. And we never know when the clock could end. It happens to everybody, happened to people in my life that have passed too soon. But there's a parable. It's like two brothers are sitting in a doctor's office or a therapist's office maybe, and one's a drunk and down on his luck and never was able to succeed. And they said, sir, how come you are the way you are? And he said, well, my dad died. And another guy was super successful businessman. They said, sir, how is it that you were able to achieve so much? And he said, well, it's because my dad died. So you just talk about there, both those people had lost a parent, and one took it in, unfortunately. I mean, hey, we're all different. We all are how we are. But one guy, unfortunately, went down one path, went down another. And you can look at that as, you got to decide what you want to do. He didn't get that job. He lost a sporting event. What are you going to do? Are you going to learn from it? Are you going to move on from it? Or are you going to sink to a depression? And hopefully, if you get to that point, you reach out and get some help, because like I said with the earlier point, life doesn't suck. It can get better. It can always get better, even with loss. Sometimes there's no way to actually fill that void, but there's ways you can cope with it. And if you do need help, reach out. You can always reach out to me. There's lots of different community supports out there. Last one, it was Dan Martell. I talk about it a lot. Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time book. I read that last year. Got it done in a day. Absolutely changed my mind on thinking about systems and just figuring out ways to do things better, to rely on others, to put more. If you give people more authority to do things, and in the end, people take that authority, and they're either gonna win it, or they're gonna fail at it. And then again, if they do fail at it, you help them out, help them pivot, help them learn from their mistakes. Hopefully, if they don't learn from their mistakes, then you've also learned that. Let's move on to the next person. So just those systems. I started doing that with my kids. Garbage days, Mondays, and my oldest son. We used to make him do garbages every once in a while, but then even though my younger ones are 11, 12, and then my oldest is 16, they all take turns now doing the garbage every week. They all have a certain thing for dishes to do. The two littles got to do the dishwasher. My oldest does the dish rack and all the big stuff that needs to be put away. When it comes time to cleaning the house, it just used to be the kids had to make their beds and help tidy up the basement, and then it turned into they've got to dust, and now they have to dust and vacuum their rooms, and then they're helping put away the laundry, all this stuff, right? So again, we're building their life skills up. We're putting more responsibility on them, but also we're buying more time for me and my wife, because we can say, hey guys, it's your turn to do the laundry, and we're going to the store, we're going out, take the dog for a walk. Same thing, cleaning up the yard and the backyard and all that stuff. We just start putting, and that's just very simple things just for home. Think about now if you apply that to your work or your business. Try not to be the person. You're going to be the boss. Then if you're the boss, you shouldn't be doing all the work. You want to delegate that out. You want to find people to replace you. So definitely Big lesson there with Dan Martell. But one of the people, he always asks questions at different events, and somebody asked, how do you deal with burnout? And he said, burnout's just a big cop-out. There's no such thing really as burnout. The reason why you feel burnt out, or you feel depressed or sad, or it's because you're not doing enough of the things you really want to be doing. So think about that. You know, you work 40, 50 hours a week, okay? If you're working 40, 50 hours a week, okay, so let's say it's a 9 to 5, but then you've got to work a little bit extra to get, you know, all of a sudden now you're into 6 o'clock. Well, what's happening at 6 o'clock? Maybe your kids got sports. That's the time you always eat. So now you're feeling stressed and depressed because now you're not at home as often as you want to be. So you look at that and you have to think, what can you do if that's just your job right now? You know, it's busy time. What can you do to kind of offset that so you can do what you want to do? And I did this with myself in that I was getting home at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night sometimes. You know, I got long drives sometimes with some of the work that I do. But then I started leaving earlier in the mornings. So, I mean, I wasn't seeing my kids anyways. When I was leaving the house at 7 a.m., my kids were up to like 7:30, 8 sometimes to go to school at 9, right? So they don't have to wake up. So I wasn't seeing them in the morning anyways. But then I come home from work, big rush, try to get them to soccer. Sometimes I miss some soccer games. Sometimes I come late. But then I changed and decided, what if I leave my house at 4:30 or 5 or 6 in the morning, get to the job site 4, 7, depends on if it's an hour or two away from me. Get everything done, blitz through, no lunch break, like none of that stuff, because I can eat on the go. I can, a lot of times, anyways, I'm a crazy guy. I do intermittent fasting sometimes. For a while I was doing 1 meal a day. So just again, I'm buying back my time. I'm figuring out new and efficient ways to do things. And then again, when I get to site, how can I do these things faster? What can I implement in? Can I use some AI stuff? Can I use some automation? Can I pre-do things the night before so my kids go to bed, you know, at like 9:30, 10, to spend 10, 20 minutes making sure everything's ready to go first thing in the morning, make sure everything's packed. I got my earbuds packed. I can make sure I got my iPads packed and charged. My water bottles are filled and sitting there, my empty coffee cup as well. My keys, my wallet are sitting right by the front door so that nothing gets forgotten. And again, buy back my time. In the morning, I'm not running around all over the place. And then that just becomes a standard thing. And before I go to bed, I fill up the waters. And then on top of that, you know, making sure that all the dishes are done and loaded. Spend an extra 5 minutes, get the dishes done, loaded. I wake up in the morning, I can open the dishwasher, let them air dry a little, whatever's left on there. My kids come home from school, the dishes are 100% dry, they can put them away. I come home shortly after, and then now we can go to the park, now we can go play in the pool, now we can take them to soccer. Just by implementing those small little changes, and I've seen it the last couple weeks. I was, again, like busy time, it's summer, trying to figure out how to fit in, you know, some holidays, some time off there. We had some jobs coming to a close, which needed extra attention. We've got some jobs starting up that need extra attention. And all of a sudden, like I was stressing out, and I couldn't record my YouTube videos. I couldn't edit some of my shorts. I couldn't, do what I like to do. I love, for a guy that I 2 years ago, I hated even picking up the phone to people. The fact that I'm sitting here doing these videos right now, 30 something minutes already, walking up and down my street like a crazy man. I'm sure I just want to make sure I get this video in before I go inside. But again, you know, just after 9 o'clock right now, I spent the morning with my wife going grocery shopping. My youngest son wanted to come with us. So we, woke up at 8:30, brought him with us, home by 10:30, dropped him off, dropped all the groceries. And we went out to another 2 stores, picked up a bunch of stuff, went to the dollar store, got a bunch of stuff for my wife's business so she could do some stuff, which is what she's doing right now while I'm out running. So again, just figuring out those ways to be more efficient with our time. I came home, ate something, then my wife and I just got to chill in the pool. And that's something that, like, for the last couple weekends, I've been trying to fit in, like, that time to just be able to relax. And it's like, a couple weekends in a row, just could not relax. And then you just get that built up tension in you, not getting in the workouts like I want to get into, not hitting the gym again. So even me switching some of the times on when I'm working, like if I'm done work at 4 and the kids got soccer at 6:30, 6:45, I'm done at 4 because I started at 5 in the morning or whatever, 6 in the morning, or finish work a little bit early. Then I can hit the gym a little bit earlier. It's not so busy then. I can hit the machines I want to hit. Then come home, still have time to eat, take the kids to soccer, come home, and then just relax for the rest of the night, do a little bit of whatever, right? Upload a couple more videos, go out for a run, record some videos, and all of that. I just learned from, I mean, hopefully you guys are finding some information here. I get a couple guys have reached out and thanked me for their videos, which I truly appreciate you guys. If these are helping anyway, if you guys want certain topics covered, let me know. I just want to just kind of share some of my experience, the whole message of let my mess be your message. Let some of the hardships that the people before you have already dealt with, you know, and the buy back your time, all that stuff. You want to make sure that you're doing that. That's a professional way of doing things. And like I said, you always want to make sure that whatever you're doing it like a pro. So go out there, be a pro. We'll see you next week.